Welcome to an all new episode. Why would I have to do it right then? I had to itch my nose. Welcome to an all new episode of Venture Prints. So, photography has always been a passion of mine. I've been lucky to live a rather adventurous life and able to take some pretty cool pics from it along the way. Come with me as twice a week I choose a favorite shot from over the years and deep dive into it. I'll talk about where and when exactly it was taken, as well as my thought process behind why I felt this was a cool image. So here we are, episode 4 of Venture Prints. I have given a pretty decent background of me in previous episodes. So if this is your first time checking me out, please, I'd ask you to go check out episode 1, 2, or 3. But yeah, I've been into photography my whole life. I've been lucky enough to do some very cool things in it. And a few years ago, I started taking it even more seriously when I was traveling around the country for a year, trying to do open mic comedy in all 50 states. And it's like you're in all these amazing places, and why not take some photos of that? And speaking of that situation, why don't we get right into this week's or this episode's photo? If I can pull up my notes here. This was from the comedy trip of 2022. Me and a few buddies, it wasn't just me, were on the road. And I have shared one already from my time in Hawaii when unfortunately we all got the stomach flu and had kind of a terrible time in Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii once in my life. It was for 6 days. We rented a very nice Airbnb on minutes walk to the ocean, and we spent most of our time inside. And I won't get too much more into the details other than that because I think people are all aware of how sickness works and how it feels. So this is one I'm going to share. We had driven out. So the thing with the comedy trip was I've done open mics for a long time in my life, and I just thought it'd be a fun thing to get in a van and drive around and see if you could do one in all the states. We drove out to from Detroit area to Los Angeles a few days before New Year, and then started in 2022 on Hawaii with the goal of doing comedy in all the states. This photo I'm showing you today was already after we had spent time in LA and San Diego. I was going through my photos. I'm kind of going through them in order, which is why you'll see when we do this show, they end up being kind of just chronologically based on the trip, but I also have pictures from before the trip, so I kind of mixing them in so it's not all the same. That's why the times are so different. Like the first episodes, I had one from 2020, one from 2022. So a lot of what I'm doing is taking the trip, going in chronological order of the trip of photos I thought were interesting, and then taking basically around 2020 before that, and some of those images I thought were kind of interesting. So this one, let's get into this one right here. This one was taken on Tuesday, January 11th of 2022 at 8:21 a.m., which is actually rather late for me. I'm a super early riser. So I'm actually shocked I was even out this late already on a morning walk because this was on a morning walk for sure. And it was 8:21 a.m. on, I can't actually pronounce this. Oh, I forgot I was going to do screenshots of where these locations were. And I meant to do that, and I forgot. I will do that next. I'd like to give a kind of a screenshot of even the location to show people, give them an idea where it was. But it was right outside the Super 8 Motel on Cholla Road in Quartzsite, Arizona. And like I said, 8:21 is actually pretty early for me. I'm shocked I was out that late. My walks are usually more in the 6 to 7 a.m. range, but maybe we were killing some time and I went on another walk. That I don't remember. But this has a lot of characteristics of things I really like. I like empty roads. I'm a nomadic lifestyle. I would live on the freaking road if I could. If I could do van life. I just don't have a sustainable income to live on the van, like a remote work or something like that. But I love the open road. So I love an empty road. I love open roads. Got this desert here, the two middle yellow lines right in the middle of the photo. This actually is one of the few photos. This is one of the photos I've had in my photography life that someone has purchased. Someone bought this from me, and I really appreciate that. All these photos are for purchase that we talk about on Venture Prints here. If you hit me up through social media at Eric Fady, ERIC, F as in Frank, ADIE at gmail.com, or you can hit me up at Patreon, eVenturecast Patreon page, Instagram, eVenturecast, which is where the eVenture Prints comes from. I've been doing a podcast for a few years now talking about my time on the road or living and working on a tourist island, Mackinac Island. I got to stop saying that in every episode because at some point you'll hope that people have seen a few of these episodes and it's not their first time watching. But I love the open road and I love this, no this desert road, the mountain in the back, the sun's not quite up yet, but you can see it's about to come over because it's earlier in the morning. This was in a very small town. We were on our way. We had driven from San Diego, and I'm trying to think. Quartzsite. When would we have January 22nd? When would we have let's see here. I can actually find out pretty easily what we did right before that and after that because I'm trying to think if we had gone to San Diego, Flagstaff. Okay, so yeah. We had after this. So we did San Diego and then we did Phoenix after that. So this was on our way from San Diego to Phoenix. We stopped at Quartzsite, Arizona at a Super 8. We stayed at a lot of Super 8s and La Quintas on the trip as the budget was rather tight. Although in the end, we were blessed to be able to stay in those places. I thought for a while we'd stay in a van based on budget, but we were lucky enough that it worked out. We could stay in some hotels in camping grounds, KOAs. So this image in the morning walk, Quartzsite, Arizona, the desert. You got the little the desert bushes here. This is definitely a favorite photo of mine. I'll probably say that a lot in the end, which sounds really douchey because I'm talking about my own art. But I really enjoyed this one, and these things all give a good memory. They always have such a good memory. I'm someone who personally, I don't know if other people do this with photos, but I really do look at these photos and say to myself, kind of like, well, where was this photo? You know what I mean? And what was I doing during it and stuff like that. So that's always something I find interesting personally. Uh, and here, if I could do this, I suppose. Take a screenshot. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But so yeah, that was it. This is an image I took. These are I'm still learning how to do these episodes. I don't want them to go too long. I also don't want them to become too much of a plug fest, which I've already done a little too much in this episode. So starting next episode, I'm gonna get more into them. So I'm guessing these might just be 5-minute long episodes. We're at 7 minutes, a little more than 7 and change right now. So all these, as I said, will correspond to an Instagram post. They will be posted. The shows on YouTube will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7, along with the Instagram post. I'd super appreciate if anyone could follow me on Instagram, eVentureCast, or check out my podcast, eVentureCast, on Spotify and iTunes. Let me know what you think about any of these photos. Anyone that's watching these, I love comments. I'd love to get this. Said love twice. I'd like to get this to a place of some interaction, maybe even seeing other people's photos and analyzing them and talking about them. So feel free to comment, positive or negative, on any photos. I have thick skin. I can take it. Constructive criticism is something I'm actually okay with, unlike most people. So yeah, I think that I'll wrap it up here for episode 4 of Venture Prints here on YouTube. Thanks everybody for checking this out. I super appreciate it. If you're watching this, especially now in these early stages, I'm sure it hasn't caught the algorithm in any capacity yet, but I'd like to, like I said, it's an experiment, see what happens. We do this twice a week for an entire year. I super appreciate it. And yeah, hit me up if you have any comments on the episodes, the photos, or some of your cool photos. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.